Hey everybody, welcome back to Living Between Paychecks Kitchen. I'm Oz, Jack and I are still in Lake Jackson, so this one's coming from my little shitty galley kitchen. It happens. So, this one's good. It's going to take a long time to set up, so remember that, okay? So it's going to take 6 to 8 hours, so you can just set it up in the morning and cook it while you're at work, or do it overnight and just have it for the next day, or whatever. Just, it takes a long time. Now, and again, speaking of that, shout out to Sweet Careless Pebbles, who entertained me over on Twitch and on TikTok. Very cool person. Very much just a shout out to them. Go give them a follow. They're very, very cool. Like I said, I just watched their stuff while I was doing this. So before we get into it, be sure to like, share, subscribe to all the YouTube stuff. Ring the little bell down in that corner. We get notifications. We do these on Tuesdays and Fridays as close as possible as we can. Also, there's a link down the doobly for our merch. Got aprons and fake hands and spatulas and flippers and spoons and stuff. We're a small business. We very much appreciate it. And let's get into this food. This one's going to be fire for you, so this one's going to be pretty nice. Let's do it. Food. Alright, so it's simple, but it just seems like a lot of stuff. Now you need to get this roast. I got this one $8, had a coupon, got it for about $4.50. So you're going to want to get a little bit of ground cloves, or you can get your cloves yourself, grind them. I'm going to use a blender, which works, or you can get your mortar and pestle out if you want to go all, bruja witchy on it and go, fucking grind those up. It's up to you. You're going to need some of these peppers in the adobo, am I saying that right? Sauce stuff there. You're going to need some garlic. Calls for 2-3 cloves. I'm going to use like 5 or 6. You're going to need some lime juice, lemon juice. This will back it up, but the lime juice works better. You're going to want you some beef broth, which is actually fairly simple to come across. Some oregano and some cumin, or oregano and cumin, salt and pepper. Obviously, we're going to need both of those, and then we're going to need a little bit of oil. I'm going to use olive oil. You can use vegetable oil, whatever, doesn't matter. I'm going to use some regular, just like flour street taco tortillas, and I'm going to dress it with hot sauce or salsa. And you're going to need a slow cooker and a blender of some kind, a food processor, blender, or just a lot of time. So first things first, you got to get your meat. Get you a nice, sharp knife. Shout out to Andy. And we're going to cut this down into cubes. I've seen it where you just leave it solid, but I just don't think the marinade and the sauce gets down deep enough into the meat. So cut it down in there. So cut it one way, cut it the other way. Again, look how sharp that knife is. Be very, very, very careful. Do not lose a finger or any kind of skin or blood doing this. You can trim the fat off. I don't mind it too much, but some people want to do that. But just cut these down into cubes and then set them to the side, right? We got to make the sauce here. So, while you're making a sauce, we're going to go ahead and sear our meat. So get you a decent sized skillet, put it on medium to medium high, put a little bit of pan lotion down there in the bottom, and you want to just get it where it's going to be brown on the edges. We're not going to cook it through, so you want it relatively high. So we're going to put this one at about 7.5 out of 9. Okay, while that's heating up, I'm going to go ahead and get my garlic. You can use pre-minced garlic. I'm just going to take this, chop it up roughly, because we're going to put it in our immersion blender. Or with our immersion blender, so it doesn't have to be too small. Always check and see if it's hot. Make sure it bubbles, it doesn't spatter, and then just go ahead and add your meat to it and let that cook while we're doing the rest of this. So, boop, just go ahead and put that in. I'm going to use that same bowl. Sorry about the focus. Thanks to my storm tattoo by Ann. Shout out to Ann Bromley. She does amazing work. So go ahead and put the meat on the metal and let that start searing. While we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and throw in our 2 cloves into our mixing bowl here. Going to add our 1 can of adobo, whatever. This is one of the small ones. I think it's 8 ounce. And we're going to add about a tablespoon and a half of cloves if it's already ground. Not tablespoon, teaspoon of cloves. And then a teaspoon of pepper. You want a tablespoon of cumin. Seems like a lot, but trust me, you need it for the flavor. 1 1/4. Sorry, 1 1/4. Beef broth, you're going to use 1 cup and a 1/4 cup of beef broth. So go ahead and add this in here. Again, I feel bad because I didn't finish all the dries before I added the wets. So don't get mad at me. Okay. Then we want our oregano, which we want, what was that, a tablespoon of that? Yeah. Tablespoon of our oregano. That's our dries right on top. We're going to add our salt. We're going to do 3 teaspoons of salt, straight up. It doesn't have to be any kind of fancy salt or kosher salt or whatever. Just go ahead and put that in there. And then 2 limes worth of juice is what we're going to put in here. I forgot the actual measurements, but that's just what I'm going to do. So I just cut it and then just squeeze the bejeebles out of it onto there. Just lime juice, yeah, right? And that's going to help kind of break down the meat. That's going to, that and the salt and the heat is going to make it where it's super tender, and that's what you want. So go ahead and add 2 full limes. I'm only going to show you 1 1/4 here. Be sure to keep it on your meat. Don't let it stick in there, right? Just want to get it to where it's just starting to get that little brown edge on the other side. Just getting that little sear. You don't want to have to do the whole thing in there, okay? So just keep flipping around. Again, meat on the metal, but keep in there. Now we're going to mix this. Now I'm going to use an immersion blender. You can use a regular blender if everything is already pre-cut and pre-organized, or just it's working a lot of patience, I guess, to be able to cut everything up. This immersion blender is actually one of the greatest things I've ever gotten. I believe I got it for Christmas or a birthday gift. I can't remember. I don't remember ever buying it for myself, but this thing it's a cheater beater, but man, it works so well. So blend that until it's smooth. Now check your meat. Now see if it's not. You got to have your crock pot, right? But so you just keep flipping around until it gets that brown seared edges on all around it, and then just put it in there. Right? You can see where you don't want it pink, you don't want it red, but you want that brown edge. See where it's brown? Brown. That's what I'm looking for. So I didn't finish the last side, but I was impatient. I am hungry, and I want this in 8 hours. So add that. Go ahead and add that sauce. I'm ladling it because I'm trying to work it with one hand and trying to be fancy and showing how it covers it and have something to stir it. But just put the whole bowl of the sauce that you had mixed up in there on top of that meat. Okay, just put it in there. Don't have to stir it around now. We're going to stir it later. Make sure you have a lid. Doesn't have to be the standard lid, just something to cover it. Make sure all your meat's there. That's off. And then put it on low. If you're going to do it on low, it's going to do it in about 8 hours. High is going to do it about 6. Okay? So I'm going to do this at low. You can do it later at high if you're really in a hurry or whatever. But I put it in low when I did it about 6.5 hours. So this is at about 3.5 hours. I'm going to go ahead and give it a stir. Make sure all the stuff on the top gets pushed down on the bottom. Just like, again, just a nice stir. Just make sure it's nice and evenly cooked, but it's already smelling amazing. The entire house smells like this stuff, and dude, you can bottle that stuff and smell it, but people will get mad when they come home and there's not barbacoa to eat. So go ahead and cover this up and do it for another 3 hours, right? 3 to 4 hours, and we'll come back to it. So once it's after that, you pull it out. You can use 2 forks. This is what the recipe said. Use 2 forks to pull it apart, and it kind of shreds it a little bit, but this is time consuming. This is what could happen, but man, it takes forever. This stuff is so tender. Just get you a plate of it and you can just mash it with forks and it comes apart. Look at that. That is beef, son. That is coming apart just at a touch of a fork. That is amazing. That's ready to just put on a tortilla and just eat. Just stuff in your face. No more dressing, nothing else. But my go-to is, yeah, there it is. That's done. Turn off your crock pot and you're good. This holds up for a long time. As I keep it sealed, keep it refrigerated. Remember, it's beef. And then the tortillas, like, so it's great for meal prep or whatever. My favorite thing to dress these with is with just a little bit of like salsa verde, which is the green sauce, or some sour cream, which is great because it kind of cuts the heat, which is really nice. But yeah, it takes a long time just for the cooking because it's a slow cook product. But this stuff is so good. My face is watering just now, and I've already had some. So, yeah, you gotta give this one a try. All right. There you have it, folks. It worked out. It is so good. It is tender. It is amazing. It's spicy, so be careful with that. But, man, is it good. And it's under our budget. It's barely under our budget, but because we got that coupon, we found it very cheap, and the meat we used, just amazing. This stuff is too good. You gotta try it out. If you do it differently, you want to see me do it differently, you want to add the lingua or whatever, put it down in the comments, man. If you find a way to do it and get it with all the other ingredients cheap, let me know. That's what the comments are for. Put it down there, all right? You can also find us on social media. Tell me how wrong I am over there on Facebook, Pinterest, Patreon. We're all those at Live Between Paychecks Kitchen. You can also find us on Instagram at Live Between. Had to shorten it down over there. You can find me, Osway Nerdy, on all those under Osway Nerdy, or generally Artist Oz or an Admiral Oz, whatever. But I'm usually talking nerd stuff. Action figures, painting, miniatures, LARPing, video gaming, whatever. I'll see you over on those, and you'll be safe. See you next time. Enjoy the food.